Hey, you guys, part two. Okay, so if you were listening in part two, part two. Okay. All right, I hope you guys can still hear me. Okay, part two. If you were with me for part one earlier, until my camera, you know, did whatever it decided to do, um, we are at part two. So let me just get to the point. Um, Let me just finish. Okay. You guys are, I don't know. Hopefully, you guys who were with me earlier, if you're back, thanks for being back. I don't know what happened earlier. My camera decided to, I guess, get disconnected to the thing. So if you're just joining, there is a part one. Okay. There is a part one that I just did. This is part two. I finally got to the part where I won't say finally because I was sharing a lot of good things about, the hustle culture, what it means to not, be hustling all the time and why you shouldn't be hustling all the time and why I decided to quit my dream job in order to live or pursue my dream life. Okay, I just shared that in part one. Now, in part two, I was basically sharing 5 ways to know how to know that you are actually ready to quit your job. And before everything got disconnected and all of that, number one, we talked about lack of passion. By the way, if you're joining me back from part one, let me know in the chat. Y'all, if you're joining me back from part one, let me know in the chat. So again, if you're just joining, this is part two. I just did part one earlier. So look back for that video. We chatted for about 48 minutes, y'all. 48 minutes until my camera decided to do whatever it decided to do. Okay, but we're back for part two, so I can finish up. Then my family and I go head to the beach. All right, so part one, lack of passion. Not part one, but how to know if you are ready to quit your job. And I'm going to give you 5 ways, or 5 ways that you may know, or how to know if you're ready to quit your job. Right? We talked about number one, having lack of passion, motivation. If you wake up every day dreading going to work, and you find no joy, no passion, no nothing in your daily task, it might be a sign that it's time to move on. Right? Persistent lack of motivation can lead to burnout and negatively affect your overall well-being. And also, it is doing you a disservice, you guys. It's doing you a disservice, or you're doing yourself a disservice, really, showing up to work all the time, not motivated. You're doing your team a disservice if you work with teams. You're doing your employer, So that's one way to know that you are ready to quit your job, because you have no motivation at all. I really wish I didn't have to break up this live in 2 parts. So if you're just joining, hey, sorry that you missed the first part. But again, you can just go check out the part one, right? We really dive into some core things, okay? And so go back and check out part one of this live, okay? Number two, no room for growth. Okay, when you hit a ceiling in your current role right now, and there are no opportunities for advancement or skill development, and that's what you desire, right? It can be a clear indicator that it's time to seek new challenges elsewhere. So if you love a challenge, if you like to be challenged, like myself, I'm always looking for something new. I like to be challenged. If this is you, if you feel stagnant in your career, that can be frustrating, right? That can be frustrating, and that can limit your potential. So if you have no room for growth where you are, you just feel stagnant. It's like, man, I'm just doing the same thing every day. No enticement, no challenges. That may be uh, a sign that it is time for you to quit your job. All right. So that's point number 2. Number 3, y'all, let's talk about this one. Let's talk about toxic work environments. Okay. Trust me, I have been in toxic work environments. My first real career or real job when I did financial services, I was in the financial service industry. And there are times when that job was toxic, right? And it was just, oh my goodness. And it was a lot. And y'all, I found myself sometimes at my job, like I would be on lunch, you guys. Mind you, I only have like a 30-minute lunch, right? At the time when I was in this job. Only have 30 minutes. Let me think about it too. Like 30 minutes really? Like I don't think any employer at any job should give, unless you only work like maybe, I don't know, a small amount of hours. But if you're working at least 8 hours, 9 hours, 12 hours, you shouldn't just be getting a 30-minute lunch. Let's be real. By the time you go get your food, if you have to go get it, or reheat your food and figure out what you want to do, and by the time you sit down and actually eat your food, eating your food, that's only 15 minutes right there. And so I remember I would be eating, and my manager, you guys, on my 30-minute lunch, my manager would try to come get me to, I don't know, finish this person's loan or process this person's loan, or this person was waiting or whichever. And so I was really good at what I did, right? I was good at what I did, but it's like, get somebody else to do it, or you do it. Like, I'm on my lunch. Why are you coming to get me to work on my little 30-minute lunch, right? And so that was annoying. So you may not consider that really toxic, but I just brought that point up because it came to me. So if your work environment is toxic, right, a negative or toxic work environment can take a serious toll on your mental and physical health, okay? Your mental and physical well-being. It's not worth it to continue in a toxic work environment, I'm telling you. So if you're dealing with, constant stress, office politics, or unhealthy work relationships, it might be best to consider a change or to quit. And like I said earlier in part 1, again, if you're just joining, this is part 2. Go check out part 1. Okay. Like I said earlier, it may not necessarily mean that you need to quit working or quit your job altogether or quit working altogether, but maybe you just need to change an environment, maybe change a job that you feel like will, appreciate you and will treat you better, right? But at the same time, or in the same breath, again, I believe that everybody should have like a side gig, right? Again, you're not having all these things or having this job and this and this and this for the sake of doing it. You're doing it with a purpose, with intentionality. You have an exit plan. There's a reason why you're doing this, so that you can take a break or whatever it is. Okay. But everybody deserves to take a break. Everybody should. Everybody must. Okay. And if you are, especially, as a Black woman, I can tell you right now, I know like in the work environments can be unfair. And, sometimes we aren't compensated fairly. Let's just say that. I believe that everyone should take a break or, have a business. Now, everybody is not meant to be an entrepreneur. I'll just say that. Entrepreneurship comes with its ebbs and flows, its ups and downs, right? I don't care what anybody wants to say. It's not always great, right? Some months you may not make as much as some months, right? That's just how entrepreneurship is. Some people may say it's a 24/7 type of thing. It can be, but the thing is, or the beauty with it is that you dictate your own schedule, pretty much your own work hours. If you want to meet with clients these days or between these times, versus somebody saying, okay, you have to clock in, from 9 to 5 or 9 to 8 or whatever that is. Again, we need the 9 to 5ers. Bugs everywhere. I'm in the jungle of Costa Rica, by the way, if you're just joining. We need 9-to-5ers, okay? Let me know where you're joining in from if you are new here as well and you're just joining me. We need 9-to-5ers. We need the trash collectors. We need the people who work at the DMV. We need nurses and all of that, right? I'm saying your job should be intentional. There should be intentionality behind it, right? We can't be grinding our entire lives or hustling our entire lives. Hustling, they say, you know, the American, whichever, or they say this is how life should be, right? You go to school, you graduate from college, and you get a good job, and you do it for, I don't know, 30 years or for 40 years, and then you retire, and then you live your life. Why would I want to get up and go to work, clocking to somebody's work for 40 years? 40 years of my life. And again, everybody may not be called to entrepreneurship. However, there should be seasons of your life. If you decide to work a 9-to-5 and that's how you make your income, that's fine, right? I did it. And however, I believe that you should know when to take a break. To take a break from that and not wait until you're 60 to retire. Because a lot of times what ends up happening, the reality is what ends up happening is, at 50 or 60, whenever you said you wanted to retire, you find yourself back at work because, all types of different reasons. I see happen a lot. Either you feel like you have to continue work. You've gotten so used to working that you feel like you have to hustle in order to make money. In your youth, right, while you're young, not retired, focus on creating other revenue streams, and focus on resting as well. Like I said before earlier, resting is a form of productivity. We have to rest. We can't be hustling 24/7. Okay, so I talked a little bit more about that in part 1. I don't want to make part 2 too long because part 1 was very long. So go back to part 1, okay, if you are just joining here. Okay, so we talked about toxic work environment. And number 4 is misalignment with your goals, your values and goals. Okay, so if your job no longer aligns with your personal goals or your interest, it's a sign that it may be time for you to pursue something more fulfilling. Whether that's a business, that you've been trying to start, whether that's another career, it's okay to pivot. So if you've been in finance, you've been thinking about tech because, this tech job is going to allow you to be more remote. You can probably travel more. You can probably take take more breaks versus having to physically drive, into a job and do all that commuting. It's okay to pivot, okay, so that you can create more freedom in your life. So, again, if you're just joining, this live is not to say that you should completely quit your job, okay, or completely quit what you're doing. This job is to put emphasis that it is okay to take a break and to take rest. And I want you to prioritize resting in this season, right? Or resting before you retire, because you don't want to wait until, you never know. You don't even know what life is going to be like 10, 15 years from now, right? So why, work for 30 years and you don't know what's going to happen in 30 years, okay? So the goal here is to remind you that whatever you're doing right now, if you're hustling or you're in a hustle season, again, it's okay to be in a season where you feel like, you have to hustle. But again, having intentionality behind it. Ask yourself these questions, okay? What am I hoping to achieve here? What is the goal? And how long do I plan on doing this? You have to have a goal behind it, you guys, because other than that, if not, You're going to just find yourself hustling, 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 and lose yourself. You're going to lose yourself. If you're struggling with stuff, like I said earlier, if you're struggling with things, you won't even know it. And that's why sometimes, people are so depressed because you're just working, working, working just to pay bills. Like, that's not how God created us to live our lives. That was not the intention, you guys. That's not the intention, to just work, work, work just to pay bills. We shouldn't be working only to pay bills because things are so expensive, and it depends on what part of the world you live in, right? And so, yeah, working to pay bills, or, if we have debt. And so that's why I say every season, the grind or the hustle should have intentionality and have a purpose behind it. So if you're grinding and hustling right now because you're trying to pay these debt off, grind and hustle, pay the debt off, and then take a break. Okay, you don't have to hustle that hard because now you're not paying off debt. Okay, God's design or God's plan for us was not to work, work, work and not be able to spend time with our families, not be able to just take in nature, the nature that He created, right? To pause and listen to the birds, like that. I feel like that is God's intention for us, right? To be present with the moment, to be present with people, to be able to have real connections with people. Sometimes we're so busy hustling and doing all these things that we don't even have the time to really ask people how we're doing and really have a conversation. Hey, it's like we live in such a fast-paced hustle culture where femininity in women is not it's like not really the goal. Like, we're operating, sometimes I find myself operating in masculinity, and I hated that, right? I want to live a life where I'm operating in my femininity, okay? And I'm living a slower life. I can wake up, listen to the birds, and yes, still make money. We can talk about that. Maybe I have to do this and that in another live, because I need you guys to understand, and I want you to understand that you can actually earn money. You can live a comfortable life. You can actually earn a lot of money. I'm not saying that everybody's desire is to live a simple life where you're not making a lot of money. I'm saying if you want to earn a lot of money, that's fine. Sometimes it's not the hustling that's going to take you there. Okay. If you want to make a lot of money, you can make a lot of money, but not hustle all the time. You have to work smarter and not harder, you guys. And I want to talk about that, but I may not be able to do it in this live, where we can talk about systems, processes, side hustles, online, streams of income that you can do, you guys, to be able to still spend time with your family, still, I don't know, do the things that you want to do, still travel, do all of that, but you're not on the constant grind. And I do strongly believe that God wants us to live a life of intentionality, of purpose. Some of us have creativity. We're so creative, and we're so driven by that creativity, and we have these desires to create or to do this thing that we're passionate about, but we feel like we can't because we're tied to a job, or we have to, or we must work this job. And I'm telling you right now that you do not need, or you do not have to work that job. You can operate in your creativity. You can operate doing the thing that you love and that you are passionate about, and still create an income from that. I'm sure there's probably books on this. I remember reading a book called Do the Work You Love or something like that. And it is possible, you guys. It is so possible. Oh my goodness. Where was I? How did I get here? Where was I? How did I get here? I was talking about misalignment, number 4. So if you're just joining me, I'm giving you 5 ways to know how to know that you may be ready to quit your job And again, I'm not saying you should get up and quit your job right now, but I'm giving you 5 ways, okay, or 5 ways that you may know, 5 ways to know that you may be ready to quit that job, okay? A lot of you guys here may be creative, like I said before, and you want to do something else. Don't be afraid to, okay? Don't be afraid to. While you are working that 9 to 5, you may have to get up earlier to work on your, side gig. And again, this is for a season, for a reason, okay? You have intentionality. You have a reason as to why you are doing this, not to do it forever. Okay, the goal is not to hustle forever. We cannot hustle forever. I've had my hustle season. Sometimes I find myself, still hustling. I feel like right now I'm at a point in my life where I'm not in hustle season. Like I said, my goal is to operate in my femininity right now. And we have to come to a point where we're not constantly hustling, because you will lose yourself. I probably said that earlier. You will lose yourself. And the worst thing to do, or one of the worst things to do in life, is lose yourself, you guys. And losing ourselves causes us to be depressed, and it comes with a lot of different things. And do you know that when you're depressed and you're losing yourself, you're overworked, you're in these toxic work environments, you have a lack of passion, lack of motivation, all these things. Do you know that can cause certain ailments, sickness, diseases, but diseases, okay? Those things can cause diseases. And that's why there are certain people that live in certain parts of the world, like Costa Rica, for example. I'm in Costa Rica right now, okay? If you guys know, I love traveling, all of that. And I'm in Costa Rica, and I'll share with you how I ended up being here, okay? It was all because of this podcast episode and all of that good stuff, but it all aligned because Costa Rica has been on my radar for a few months now, or like for a year or so, and finally here. And so Costa Rica is considered like a blue zone, like people, I guess, live longer or something like that. You know why? Because the food here is pretty fresh, right? People live slower lives here. That's why Costa Rica is considered a blue zone, because people aren't dying from working. Do you know that you can literally work yourself to death? You can literally work yourself to death, guys. And in places like Costa Rica, there's different parts of the world, right, where the culture is similar here. It's similar to here, where it is, like a slower pace, slower way of life, because people aren't stressed. They're chilling. Like I was saying earlier, if you're just joining, this is part 2. If you're just joining, this is part 2. I actually was live for like 48 minutes in part 1, until my camera got disconnected or whichever. So I'm live again. Okay. And if you're joining me, let me know where you're joining from. I don't know if I can see the comments. Let me know where you guys are joining from. Are the comments here? I don't know. Anyway, I was saying how yesterday I was in a restaurant and I noticed how things were just slow. People were meeting up with people just to have lunch. And then they were like, all right, ciao, see you. Like they literally met up just to have lunch in a slow paced type of restaurant, sat down. Oh my gosh, y'all, in the Western world, America, it's like lunch, like meet up somebody for lunch for like 2 hours. Like that doesn't really, people don't really do that. And so that's why places like this, people, live longer, because it's a slower pace. Like people aren't overly stressed, working themselves to death, trying to pay bills, trying to pay debt. The greenery as well. That's why it's so important to pause and be in tune with nature. Like not Puerto Rico. Why am I saying Puerto Rico? Costa Rica, okay, is like a portal. It's like a portal. Like the energy here is surreal. It's like whatever you think, like you have to be careful of what you say and what you think, because like it may just come to fruition. It may just come to fruition. So you have to be careful of what you're thinking, right? And so I just said that to say, I know I'm going on and on a little bit, y'all, but that's just sometimes how my mind works, how my brain works. I'm just, thinking, I'm just sharing. I like sharing. And see, that's another thing, y'all. This is another thing. Like, I'm here. This is one of the things that I've always wanted to do more lives like this. And I'm in Costa Rica, and I feel creative to do that. I feel called to do that and share. You guys, I don't want you to work your, if you're listening, nothing happens by coincidence. If you're here right now and you're listening to this live, you're watching me, the reason why you're here listening to this live or watching me is because you are meant to watch me or to listen. Okay, there's a reason that you're here. Either the reason is, girl, you needed a sign that you need to quit your job. Okay, this is your reason. There you go. Okay. Or it's, you know what? I really need to take some time for myself, take a sabbatical, take some time away, be in tune with nature so that I can really heal and reflect on what's truly going on with me. What is truly going on with me? How can I, reconnect? And so, anyway, I said that to say, okay, we're talking about number 4, misalignment with your values. Okay. What are your values? What are your goals? Is your goal in life to be able to spend more time with your family? Is there a goal in life to be able to travel more? Is there a goal in life to be able to, I don't know, work from home, just wake up, be in your habitat, your own space, and not have to deal with toxic people? Or, is that your goal? If that's your goal and your job is not giving that to you, then that may mean that you may need to quit that job, find something else. Do freelancing. Let me tell you right now, it's 2024, you guys, and I'm telling you, I'm so passionate about this. And I don't know. Maybe I end up doing something like this free like training or something. Talking about free training. You guys. If you are here, I am hosting a free business credit workshop tonight. Tonight at it's 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link to that, let me see if I can put the link here. I don't know if I can put the link here. Somebody said, sorry, I missed the comments. Somebody said, I've never seen you before. Open YouTube and see your live immediately. Tomorrow I'm supposed to go back to work after mental health leave. Oh, wow. It's definitely a sign. Oh, wow. I love that. I love it. See, that's why I say like nothing. I don't believe that anything is truly like coincidence. I believe that everything aligns with, God just aligns things. God just aligns things, y'all. The reason why I'm in Costa Rica here is because God aligned me to be here right now. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. I have a podcast interview. I'm interviewing somebody here in Costa Rica, and it just aligned. It was on my radar, and she was like, hey, let me host you down here. Not even that. She was like, hey, I have an Airbnb. I'll offer you a complimentary stay. I'm not here at the complimentary stay right now. Things like plans change a little bit, but you get the gist. We'll talk a little bit more on that, right? And that's what I'm saying. Costa Rica is one of those places where energy is just so strong. Like you have to be careful of what you say or you desire or you put out there in the energy. It's like the nature here. And God just works. Okay, so we'll talk about that and stay tuned for that podcast episode because I'll be interviewing someone who was able to design the life that she wanted. You may know her, maybe not, I don't know, but she is she's a mom, 2 beautiful babies right now. She is in Costa Rica right now and she is able to earn money online, stuff like that. She was actually a flight attendant. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much because the podcast episode is tomorrow. I don't know everything about her, but I know enough to say I definitely want you as a guest on my podcast episode. And so I don't want to spoil anything. So I won't share too much because I'm interviewing her tomorrow. But I say that to say it came in handy because she's going to share, or I'm going to ask these questions, figure out, hey, how are you able to do this? How are you able to live this life where you are able to just be in the jungle, earn money online, you have 2 beautiful babies, all of these things. Y'all, you can do it too. Even if you are a single parent or you don't have that much support, you don't have a village, because it does. The truth is, they say, it takes a village to raise a child, but it takes a village to support a parent, to support a mom as well, right? That is so true, you guys. But anyway, I'm so excited about that, episode. Stay tuned for that. I'm interviewing her tomorrow, but I may not have that shared until maybe, or live or published until maybe like next week or the week after that. Because if you are here, you're trying to figure out how to leave your toxic job or how to make money online or how to create extra income without the constant hustle, then it may be for you. Okay. So thanks for sharing that, Faith. Thank you for sharing that. And so, yeah, what are your goals? If your job is not, or your career, or your job, or whichever is not aligning, then it may mean that it's time for you to walk away and create your dream life. It's 2024, and I can tell you right now that there's so many things that you can do uh, online, or it doesn't have to be online. If you're an in-person type of person, I don't know, you may be a yoga person or whichever. If you're an type of person, you can still do an in-person type of business or side gig or something that still gives you time freedom. That still gives you time freedom. You choose your own schedule. It's like I said before in part one, uh, we need workers, we need janitors, we need the garbage collectors, we need the admin person at DMV, right? Uh, but everything is for its season. It's for its season. Okay, the goal shouldn't be to be there for 40 years because you're going to get a gold medal. Probably not going to get a gold medal even, right? So, hey, I'm just saying, this is my opinion. This is my opinion. Uh, And so I just believe that we all should thrive to create the life that we desire. And we should not wait until we are 70 or 65. I don't think nobody really wants to retire at 70 today, but we shouldn't wait until we're 60 to take a break, to take a career break. If you want to change your career, figure out how you're going to do that. Maybe you need to grind now. Maybe you need to grind a hustle now, save some money, and decide, okay, I'm going to live off these savings for 6 months so that I can operate in my creativity. I'm not stressing myself out overworking. Whatever it is that you need to do, there are options. Even if you feel like you don't have a village, maybe you have, a parent or somebody you can stay with for a while or something. Or I would suggest, because I'm such a travel lover and I love staying in countries where it's inexpensive, go to places like Bali, Indonesia, or Thailand, where you can live off of a little bit of money. Like, if I don't move to Bali, more on that another time. You guys, because oh my goodness, go to another country, not America. Okay, if you want to live off savings, don't do it in America. Okay, take your family and go to Southeast Asia somewhere and live off a little bit of money. You can eat good food. You don't have to really budget because things are so cheap. It's like you don't have to cook your own food because things are so cheap to eat out. You may not have to clean your own house because it's so cheap to hire somebody to clean your house. More on that another time. You guys. Oh my goodness. And by the way, if I'm thinking of doing a retreat, right? I'm going to get to point number 5. We talked about 4 points, how you may know that it's time for you to quit your job. But before I go any further, if you would like to join me on a retreat, the 2 top destinations we have right now is, let me copy this link so I can probably put it in the comments. The 2 top destinations we have right now is Costa Rica and I think Bali, Indonesia. For those of you who filled out the survey, I want to do a retreat for a woman to rejuvenate, like to be renewed, relax, take a break from the toxic work environment, toxic life. But also, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, and you're looking for ways to strategize, you're trying to strategize, or you need tips or advice on how you can grow this business or how you can use your talents, put it to use, this retreat may be for you. It's going to be, like informal. I want it to be a very relaxed setting. We're going to be doing things for different days. The trip is not fully planned yet. But I need your thoughts. And so in the chat, let me see if I can type in the chat here. Oh, I can actually do that. It says, can't post to some channels. Okay, so I just posted a link. Let me know in the survey, if you're watching, where you'd want to go, what your budget is, all of that, because we're still planning the details. The top 2 destinations we have right now is Costa Rica and Bali, Indonesia, I believe. So if you're interested, possibly there's a link to that. But as I was saying, figure out how you can take that break. Oh, somebody said something. I don't want to miss what you said. Um, okay. Somebody says, oh, I forgot. I missed what Faith said. Hello, happy to catch you live. You have inspired me to visit Costa Rica. Please share your experience. Thank you. Absolutely. I will share my experience. Maybe I'll probably do a sit down. Maybe I'll do another live. Actually, maybe I'll do another live. Maybe in a few days or so to share my experience. In part one, if you're just joining, I did a part one. So this is part two. Okay. My camera got disconnected and I was talking for like 48 minutes, part one. So this is part two. I did share a little bit of my experience in part one, but I may do another video. So thanks for sharing that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Faith said, I missed this one. Exactly. Daily. I dread daily coming to this place. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love going to my part-time job more. Wow. Oh, this is Jessica. Hey, Jessica. Thanks for joining. I feel you on that, love. I feel you on that. Okay. And if you are dreading right now, your 9 to 5 or whatever job, whew, did you know that, y'all, the anxiety, it can cause so much stress. And like I said before, diseases, okay? It can cause ailments and issues because we're so stressed. That's why Costa Rica is considered a blue zone, because people, it's a slower pace, it's a slower way of life. And somebody said I should share my experience. Let me tell you one thing. One experience that I've had here is that the service can be okay. And when you're in the jungle, I'm in the jungle. There are little stuff, insects and whichever. But outside of that, when it rains and stuff, the service may be a little, glitchy and whichever. And so you may not really have service like that when it rains. And so that may be a good thing because it forces you to disconnect. I was sharing with you guys my experience, while I was in Bali, Indonesia, Southeast Asia for like 45 days. And I was forced to be present, and it was so healing because I didn't have SIM card service, anything like that. Except for if we were anywhere with Wi-Fi, then I was able to like use WhatsApp. But en route or just out somewhere, out of the beach, whichever, I was forced to be present because I had no phone, right? And so it was so healing. It was so healing, so therapeutic. It was the most therapeutic experience of my entire life. And that made me realize, oh sis, you can't be grinding all the time. Like you can't be grinding. And it also made me realize that I don't want to spend the rest of my life in the Western world. Particularly, where I currently pretty much reside is, the US. I realize that I actually don't want to. I can live a luxurious life or a life with more luxury and a slower pace of life, and oh my goodness, for less, right? For less. So it made me realize that. Okay, we'll talk about that in another video. But something's in my eyes. But yeah. We're not meant to constantly hustle, you guys, okay? And there is a way, you can find a way to not have to hustle. And trust me, you do not need, I'm telling you, your job may make you feel like you need them or you need it, but you don't. If you are creative and you know it deep down that you are creative and that you rather do something else or you're passionate about something, I'm telling you that you can make a living. You can possibly make a living with your passion, right? Okay, so that's number 4. If your job does not align with your goals, your interests, okay, if your job does not allow you to take a 30-day break somewhere in another country, that's your desire, then, I believe that it is okay to desire. I believe that it is okay to desire I've been trying to kill this thing for, my goodness. I believe that it is okay to desire a life of luxury. So desire a simpler life, a life that you're not constantly huffing, constantly grinding just to turn around and pay bills and then you don't have anything to show for it. Okay. I believe that. And especially for a woman that looks like me, a woman of color, you deserve a break. You deserve a break. Because I know that job is demanding a lot from you. They demand so much from you. They want you to be the lifesaver, the savior, right, of that job. Uh, is my audio working? Is it working? Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Yes, I will try my best to do another live, but let me know if you guys can hear me though, if the audio sounds different, because it's a little bit loud in my background and I want to make sure that you guys can hear me from this audio. But what was I saying? Yes, you can hear me. Okay, great. Awesome. What was I saying? My ADHD, y'all. What was I saying? If your job is not allowing you to, oh, yes, this is what I was saying. As a Black woman, they want us to be savior, right? They want us to save the day all the time, save the day. But you know what else? They don't want to pay us save the day money, right? They're not paying women, Black women, their worth. And it's sad. They want you to do all of these things but not pay you your worth. And here's the thing. You may have the same qualifications or even more because, Black women were, overachievers. We, like to, we work hard, right? And so we may have more qualifications too, but they still don't want to pay us our worth. Okay, how is that fair? You deserve a break. You deserve a break. You deserve to leave that toxic work environment. Yeah. Somebody says, LOL. Oh, hey, Kristen, you're back. Yes, Shy, you are speaking in high vibrations. Wow. And attracting the jungle buddies. Yes, I'm definitely attracting these jungle stuff for the boy. But that's the thing about Costa Rica. That's the thing about operating in uh, full creativity and just allowing things to flow, being fluid. And I feel that Costa Rica itself is a high vibrational place, I believe. And I believe, like I said earlier, you attract things here. And so I'm outside pretty much in the jungle, and I feel like, I don't know, Mother Nature is speaking to me, God is speaking to me. So that may be it. So take a break, okay? Hustle. It's okay to hustle, grind, but be intentional and have purpose behind it. That is basically the point that I'm saying. And then when you're done with that, take a break. Do not, again, this is my opinion. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but don't let them fool you. Like the Western world or America is such a capitalistic, that's the word I'm looking for, capitalistic, materialistic, like consumer debt type of like places, like debt. Here's a credit card. Here's a credit card. Here's a credit card. Do you know that there are some countries where having debt or charging interest is illegal? My Lyft driver, Uber driver, Uber, either one, who actually took us to the airport when we were coming here to Costa Rica, we had a phenomenal conversation. Like I say, everything happens for a reason. That was confirmation. And I was saying to my husband, see, that's what I'm telling you. I know we're not going to live in America forever. It was not a coincidence. He was from some other country. I think he said Baghdad. And he was talking about how, he was doing Lyft and stuff. And he was like, yeah, in America, it's just hustle, 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 hustle. You can't even call people. You can't even, He's basically saying when he first came here to America, he just called a friend. Was like, "Hey, you know what's up?" He was calling a friend, and the guy was like, "You don't call people here. You text. You text first. You have to schedule stuff." Like I do feel like that in America. It's like, oh my gosh, I have to. It sucks and it's sad that I feel like that. I'm not saying it has to be like that. I'm just saying how I feel and what I've been doing. Texting mostly, scheduling a phone call. Back where I'm from, I was born and raised in Jamaica. You just call people up. You don't text people. You just call people up, And so he was saying that it was weird to him. The guy was like, no, you don't just call people, you text. He was also saying that in his country, in Baghdad is where he's saying it's from, it's actually illegal to charge interest, he was saying. And people don't really have debt. They just build their houses. There's no like mortgage. It's a slower pace of life. Just all of these things. And I believe it because I've been, like I said before, you guys, I've been to several continents all over the world, different countless cities, different countries, right? And I've been able to experience that in different parts of the world. And that made me realize I like, America, so to speak, has certain, or people may consider the land of opportunity, but there's a lot of things, sadly, that's backwards here. There's a lot, not here. I'm not in America right now. I'm in Costa Rica. But there's a lot of things that's backwards, like healthcare. He was saying something like, I think he was saying healthcare is free or or college. He went to university for free. What? He was like, there's no such thing as like loans for universities or you pay for university. Like it's free. But he can go to university for free. And we're talking about healthcare and y'all, I'm like, bro, this place, not this place, not Costa Rica, but, America. And more on that another time, right? I don't want to go off topic. I can talk all day. But think about what is it you're hoping to achieve, okay? If you're working 2-3 jobs and you're hustling, you feel handcuffed to that job, ask yourself, why? Why are you doing it? And what else can you do in the meantime? Wake up early, go to bed later for a season, a little while to get that side business or your passion, whatever it is that you're trying to do, up off the ground. Because trust me, you have time. You may have children. You may feel like you don't have time, but I'm telling you, you have time. Because those kids eventually go to sleep. They go to sleep. They're in school. If you have them in school, whatever it is, you have you can create the time. A lot of times you say we don't have the time, but the reality is you have to create the time. Remember, you're focused on creating the life that you want to live, right? So you have to create the time to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. You have to create the time for it. That's just the truth. Okay. So number 5 is financial stability and preparedness. Okay. Quitting your job can be daunting. It can be. I shared my experience earlier in part 1. If you're new here, and by the way, if you're new here, I'm Shibivia. Somebody said they don't know who I am. I'm Shibivia, or AKA Shibivia. Shanice Bryant, also known as Shanice Bryant, or vice versa, whichever. But legally also known as Shibivia. And I resigned from my flight attendant job now about a year and a half ago. I quit my dream job to live and pursue my dream life. So if you are new here, that is me. I am a business coach and a business credit expert. I help entrepreneurs better position their business for funding, and I help business owners grow their business. So whether that's strategizing, implementing systems, processes, and systems, so you're not overworking in your business, because you can quit your 9-to job and decide to be a full-time entrepreneur and still overwork yourself, right? Maybe for a season in the startup phase, that's fine. But again, everything should be with intentionality. Okay, what's the goal here? Who are you going to hire? Oh my gosh, that bug! I'm telling you, that's what happens when you're in the jungle of Costa Rica. I'm sorry, y'all. Oh my gosh, I've been trying to kill this thing. I think it's a wasp. Please don't come over here, please. Jeez. Oh my goodness. Just go over there. Where was I? Yeah, you can quit your job because you're trying to quit the hustle or whichever, and then still end up being a full-time entrepreneur or business owner, whichever, and still be overworking yourself. So I believe in creating systems and processes, automation, outsourcing some stuff once you start generating some revenue, and trust me, that will help you free up your time and help you with your sanity. Okay. So but it's possible, you guys. It is so possible. Okay, now we're talking about financial stability and preparedness. Okay, so it can be daunting. I shared this earlier, how quitting my job was a little bit daunting. It took me like a year to quit, even though I knew I was supposed to quit. Okay, I grieved the job. I grieved walking away from the job because of, it was sometimes great, but it was also not so great a lot of times, and sometimes toxic. But if you are unsure about your future, it can be daunting, right? So you want to ensure that you have a financial safety net in place. If you have a support system, maybe a spouse, your spouse wants to be a provider, let him be a provider for a while. So if you're a woman watching this and you have a spouse, you have a husband, or yeah, let them be a provider. Okay, let them provide for you. That's what they want to do, and give you a break. Okay, or if you have a support system, or maybe you can stay with even though for me, how my life situation is set up, it's not conducive, or it wouldn't work out for me. If I was trying to start over to create this life, I wouldn't be able to just move back in with a parent or something. But if you're able to move back in with parent or somebody for a while, just for a season, hey, but ensure that you have some financial safety net, in place. If you're grinding right now so you can pay off debt, grind, okay, hustle, pay the debt off, and then you can rest, right? Because then you don't have this debt that you're trying to pay off. You can probably rest a little bit more. So if you've saved enough money, right, to support yourself, again, I suggest, okay, if you're planning on, if you're planning on living off savings, I suggest going to another country where the US dollar goes further. Like Southeast Asia. If you're hearing noises in the background, I apologize. Okay, I'm in the jungle and there's weird creature noises. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like, is that a dog? What is that? And there's also sounds like somebody's knocking, welding something. So I apologize if you guys are hearing that. Hopefully you can hear me well, and hopefully I'm still using this microphone. So yeah, in my opinion, I think that you should go somewhere like Southeast Asia if you plan living off your savings, or go to another country where the US dollar can go faster. Because especially right now, they say it's a recession, supposedly, or things are, we know, in the United States. I'm not currently in the United States, but in the US right now, there's supposedly recession. Things are high and all of that. So it's I suggest if you're going to live off savings, go somewhere else. Go somewhere else, sis, okay, where you can get a solid meal, a healthy, solid, fresh meal plate for $4 or $5. Okay, if you have a family, you can do it too. You can do it with a family as well. All right, I'm so passionate about that. But anyway, yeah, financial. So, okay, so I talked about 5 ways to know, if you're just joining, 5 ways to know how to know that you are ready to leave or quit your job. Number 1, we talked about lack of passion, motivation. You wake up every day dreading to go to work, okay, and you find no joy or passion in your daily task. That may be a sign to move on, okay? That can lead to burnout. If you're constantly if you constantly have no motivation, then that can lead to burnout, and it can negatively affect your overall well-being, like I said earlier. So, and you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing everybody else around you a disservice. Your family too, because you come home, you're it's like you come home from this job that you just, you were dreading all day. And then Sunday, here comes Sunday. And you're like, oh my gosh, Monday, here comes Monday. If you feel like that, yeah, sis, it's time to, it's probably time to move on. Number 2, no room for growth. Okay, when you've hit a ceiling in your current role and there are no opportunities for advancement or skill development, it might be a clear indicator that it's time to seek new challenges. So if you love a challenge, you like to experience new things, it may be time. It may be time. It may be time. Okay. Toxic work environment. This is a huge one. Toxicity. I probably am saying that wrong, but toxic work environments can lead to so many different issues: anxiety, stress. Oh my God, it can lead to so many things, and it can cause illness when you're stressed out all the time. That's what I was saying earlier. That's why Costa Rica is considered a blue zone, because it's a slower way of life. And people are not constantly stressed, trying to hustle, trying to work just to make ends meet. You can live off the land. Well, when I was walking, oh my God, please, leave me alone. God, goodness gracious. When I was walking with my family the other day to the some restaurant, which was so nice. It was so nice to be able to just walk down the street to the grocery store and to the restaurant and everything. There were like just fruits on the floor. You don't need permission to grow stuff in your yard here. Like everybody has like a fruit. You can just pick. I was born and raised in Jamaica, and I'm used to that. Everybody had a mango tree. You just pick lime. Everybody had a lime tree and a mango tree and an ackee tree. You can just pick the ackee. You can cook up the ackee, and there is dinner. You can pick the lime off the tree. You can make some lime juice. You don't have to go to the store. Or if you're a neighbor, your neighbor may have some lime. Your neighbor, probably will pick the lime. They're like, hey, you want some lime? You can go make some lime juice. So it's like that here. It's slower pace of life. People still make money, earn living, but they're not like overly working, right? And so, the toxic environment may mean that it can, it may mean that it's time for you to walk away. It can take a serious toll on your mental and physical health. What time is it? Because we're supposed to leave. Oh my goodness, we're supposed to leave in 30 minutes to go to the beach, but it looks like baby boy is still sleeping. And if you're dealing with constant stress, office politics, unhealthy work relationships, it might be best to change. It might be best to change your job, do something else, even if it means just change your career field or just change your job, at least temporarily, until we figure out. Well, like I said earlier, you need a break from all of that. If you're hustling, it gives you no time to really do self-work, self-reflection, to figure out yourself. Like figure out things that you're dealing with. It doesn't give us time to connect with people, truly connect with people, connect with, earth, nature. It doesn't allow us time to do any of that. And it's like, if we have families, by the time you turn around, it's like, you spend a few hours in the evening with your, children or whosoever, or your spouse maybe. And by the time you have to turn around and go back to work. And that can be daunting, right? And so toxic work environment might mean that it's time to, leave misalignment with values and goals. So if your job no longer aligns with your personal values, goals, or interests, it's a sign that it may be time for you to pursue something else. So if your desire is to, like I said before, travel for 30 days at a time, or, stay in another country for 6 months, I don't know. If it means be able to spend a certain amount of time during the day with your spouse, your family, your children, if it may mean that you want to be able to, I don't know, take walks. I don't know what it is, right? If it does not align with your values, goals, and your interests, if it's not making you a better human being, if that job is not making you a better human being, if it's not making you happier, if it's not making you creative, if it's not making you feel like you're thriving, if it's not making you feel like you're operating on, on a higher vibration or attracting, good energy to you, then it may not be for you. Okay. Somebody says, Kristen says, I wish I was there. It has been a goal of mine to visit Costa Rica for a long time. You know what? You just put that out in there in the atmosphere, honey. You just put that out there. God heard you. He hears our prayers. He hears our manifestations. He hears our desires. God is the creator of the universe. And, you just put that out in the universe. Okay. So we may just be here, Kristen. Okay. So I hope that you'll be able to visit Costa Rica soon. Thanks for sharing that. And number 5, financial stability and preparedness. So quitting a job, yes, it can be daunting, but if you have some type of financial stability, like I said before, and it doesn't, listen, this is what I want you to do. Okay. Don't just say, don't just hear me say financial stability and start thinking, oh my gosh, I need $50,000, I need $100,000, or I need all these things, or I need to have everything paid off, or I need to. Don't overthink it. Don't think yourself how much money to survive every month. Okay. Think of a country, like I said before, I'm all for maybe going to another country for a while to take a break outside of this America, because in my opinion, this is my opinion, okay? You guys may think otherwise. That's fine. This is my opinion. In my opinion, decided to take a sabbatical or a break from that toxic work environment, from your toxic job or whatever hustle culture. If you decide to do that, really do that, in my opinion, you shouldn't do it in America. I would want you to experience the fullness of being away from a toxic environment, because America is so. I'm not, did I say that? But anyway, some parts of the Western world as well. But as far as I know, I lived in America I still live in America, technically. And I live in America. And I've been living in America for 11 years now. I was born and raised in Jamaica. I moved to America in 2013. So 11 years now. Okay. In my opinion, America has such a hustle culture. It can be a little bit toxic. Like, we'll get into that another time, right? But if you know, you know. If you know, you know where I'm getting. Okay. Especially if you're a woman that looks like me. Fortunately, I haven't really experienced too much. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm delusional, or maybe I just try to see the best in people or whichever. But I haven't really received too much, like, I guess, discrimination. Sometimes I feel like, but not a lot, right? But in my opinion, as I was saying, if you decide to take a sabbatical, take a break from your job, your toxic job, or just have a career change, you just want to break from everything, you want to focus on your passion, focus on that business, that side gig, a slower pace of life, all of that stuff, in my opinion, it's better to do it somewhere else, another country. Maybe Costa Rica, where I'm at right now, it's a blue zone. Trust me, you're gonna feel like, why did I not do this sooner? That's how you're gonna feel. I can guarantee you any money, like any amount of money, I guarantee you that you're gonna feel like that if you come to places like this, or maybe Southeast Asia, right? And things are it's inexpensive, and you can live in luxury for less. You're gonna be like, why didn't I do this sooner? Anyway, so if you've been thinking about traveling maybe, and or just going away for a while, this is not a coincidence that you're listening to this live. I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I don't really believe that, I don't believe that this is just a coincidence. Okay. And you can do it with your family. If you have a child, children, spouse, you may have to convince your spouse. Right? But it is possible. It is so possible. And I believe that you should do that. And I can't put emphasis on that enough. I can't reiterate that enough. Do it outside of Jamaica. Not Jamaica, but America, okay? Do it outside of uh, America, okay? It's gonna be therapeutic for you. Um, you're gonna have this creative energy, this creative flow. You're gonna feel fluid. I'm telling you, you're gonna realize that there's something wrong with the culture in America or the Western world. You're gonna realize that there's something wrong with it, and you're gonna realize that the constant hustle culture is not worth it. I guarantee you any money that you're going to realize that. You're going to realize that it's just not worth it. And so I'm not going to be here too long because I did a part one and my husband was like, "You're not done with the live yet? I thought you were done with the live." So I'm going to be done. I think I've been on here for 2 hours now. So I guess I'll be done. But there's a part one. If you're just joining here, I did a part one earlier and, shared some stuff. And this is part two. Okay, so this is part two, how to know that you are ready to quit your job. And, why I quit my job. I quit my dream job in order to live my dream life. Okay, and I shared with you how it has changed my life. It has changed my life, you guys. And in terms of income, God reminded me and proved to me that this is why you need to quit your job. And you don't need to work a job to earn money. You guys, there's so many different ways to earn money in 2024, and now I'm like, this is crazy. Like the first time I made my first, like, I don't know, a few thousands of dollars, like lump sum, I was like, this is crazy. I was like, this is wild. I was like, you know how long it would have taken me at my flight attendant job or wherever, my financial job, whichever, to make this money? You know how long it would have taken me? I'd have had to fly so many trips, at least an entire month. Like I remember one time, so I've fortunately been able to create, different streams of income. Right now, I don't really do YouTube a lot. I'm trying to get back there, but I'm just in my element right now where I'm trying to just be more present and all of that. So I haven't really been on YouTube a lot, but, the first year that I started actually monetizing YouTube, I was shocked. I was utterly shocked, you guys. I was like, I can't believe this. Like all I had to do was just make videos that people want to see and be paid all this money. And then I started getting into brand sponsorships and coaching and all of these things. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like one client paid me, this much money, right? And it would have taken me so long to make this money. And it made me realize that, wow, like God was showing me all this time. This was what God was showing me. Like you can still earn income. You can still make a living without doing this. And I just feel like it wasn't aligning with my values. So if you're watching this right now and you're thinking to yourself, this is the only way that you'll be able to support your family is going back to this toxic job that, the people don't treat you well. You're treated unfairly. You don't have any passion going there. You're dreading going there every time. If you're feeling like that, I'm telling you right now that is not the only way that you can make money, right? You'll be utterly shocked. You'll be blown out of your mind that you can actually make a living doing what you love. And so I'm so passionate about that. And maybe I'll do another live about different side hustle streams that is not overly that's not too demanding, okay, that you can do right now. For those of you who want to maybe visit another country, do side hustles that allow you to travel, abroad while you do it, I'm going to share that with you. So if you want me to share those, please let me know. Let me know in the comments. Also, later I'm doing a free class, a free masterclass. It's actually, let me put the link here in the chat so that you guys can sign up because it's today. So let me post it in here. It's tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's going to be tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the link to register. It's a business. It's a business credit masterclass. It's basically, so if you're somebody who are an entrepreneur or want to be, and you're trying to figure out how you can leverage, business credit. If you want to, I'm not saying that you need business credit to grow a business. However, business credit can be a phenomenal tool, you guys. Can be a phenomenal tool to help you to grow a business. And business credit does not necessarily mean debt. It means credibility and scalability. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in the free workshop. So there's a link. I just dropped the link in there, and this may help you be able to grow your business, right? If you've been wanting to maybe hire some help or get some inventory or whatever that is, I'm going to share with you how you can secure about $40,000 to $100,000 in business credit. Not only that, but just how to build business credit, right? Just how to build business credit. We're going to talk about that and share a little bit about our program and all of that and how that works. And so, join me live tonight, or join me today, I should say, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so this may help you to be able to quit that toxic job, right? It may help you because you can use business credit to leverage like so much things. Like I've had clients who are able to, get funding to grow their advertising business or their Airbnb business or whatever it is, right? So if you're looking for some extra income or if you're looking to grow a business right now because you're tired of your job, you want to create or design the life that you love, this workshop may be for you. Okay, so I have the link right there. Feel free to register. It is free. Okay, so, oh my gosh, I've been here for an hour. Oh my goodness, my first live was 48 minutes. All right, y'all, I think it's time. It's time to go. If you just joined me for part 2, feel free to check out part 1 of this live, okay? Love you guys. Remember, you can create the life that you love, and you can create the life that you desire. And God's desire for us is not for us to just grind, hustle, be disconnected with real life, with people. And his desire for us is not for us to just work so that we can pay bills and pay people interest. His desire for us, I believe, that's what I believe. In his word somewhere says it, right? So his desire for us is to live a life of, abundance, right? When you have that mindset, you realize that you do not have to hustle all the time. Trust me. Once you believe that you are abundant, right? Money comes, money goes. You will always be able to generate income, whether you're working a job or not. Believe me, like people were making during COVID-19, people were making more money. I think I was too, because I was just basically I was a flight attendant at the time when COVID happened and everything got shut down. Planes were grounded, so was not working in the beginning part of COVID until like the middle. But anyway, a lot of people said and admitted that they were making more money not working. That's crazy. People were making more money, right? Remember the stimulus, whichever, they were giving all this money every week to people. People were making more money not working. And a lot of people realized during that time that, why am I working? Or why I kept going to this toxic job again? And people were able to be more creative and actually enjoy their passion. So God wants us to live a life where we can, where we have time for him, we can honor him, honor nature, be connected with people, and create. The Bible talks about entrepreneurship. Okay? I don't remember the scripture right now. I don't know the scripture. I'm sure there's a couple scriptures. Don't remember, but just Google entrepreneurship in the Bible or scriptures about entrepreneurship in the Bible, and trust me, you will find some. Okay, so I'm about to go because 15 minutes before this guy picks us up to take us to the beach, Kristen says, thank you, Shai. I look forward to your next video on growing business credit. Yes. And join me later today, Kristen, because I'm going to be talking about the business credit. So the link above up here, there's the link. Just click on that link, register for free. It's a masterclass. I'm going to be sharing with you guys, how business credit can help you grow your business. And yeah, so join me later today. So thank you for joining, Kristen, and I'll see you guys in my next live. Again, I'm Shibivia. It was an absolute pleasure, and I'll see you guys later. Be blessed, y'all. Bye-bye.